Ooh, Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we have an excellent, amazing, you could call it the amazing issue coming at you. The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1 from 1963. Now, this comic book has generated the largest amount of sale in a private sale, $336,000. Spider-Man's created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and this is the issue that launched it all. Let's check it out. Some people know, some people don't know, that the character of J. Jonah Jameson is based off of Stan Lee. Stan Lee created a character based off of himself, and I think it's interesting that Stan Lee's most favorite and beloved character, Spider-Man, in real life, he made as his most hated character in comic book form. I think it's interesting. Peter Parker is pissed because he couldn't save Uncle Ben. He goes back into his mind and remembers when he was bitten by the radioactive spider that gave him all his spider powers. He was thinking of riches and bitches. He was testing out his powers like a teenage nerdy kid would do if you all of a sudden got all these powers, climbing in buildings, having fun, designing your spider costume. And while he was out dicking around as Spider-Man, some robber busts in his house, shoots Uncle Ben, unlike in the movies where he was shot outside his car. No, Uncle Ben was shot in his own house. This is why I tell you people, you got to get that Second Amendment rights rolling in your house, Castle Doctrine. Anyway, Peter Parker slaps on his Spider-Man outfit and somehow swings around and finds the assassin robber who kills his Uncle Ben, turns him into the police. But now he realizes, now that Uncle Ben is gone, there's no breadwinner. They're already super poor. And now the landlord's knocking on the door saying, "Where's my money? Where's my rent?" Aunt May is old as dirt. She can't work. She has got no skills. So Peter Parker's thinking, what the heck am I going to do? We need to find some money to pay the bills. Having all this spider power is useless. If I'm homeless, Peter Parker is desperate. He's really going into desperation mode. He's saying, I'm going to have to quit school. I'm going to have to get 2 jobs. And Aunt May, she should be called Great Aunt May, with her age, looking frail as can be, says, no, Uncle Ben dreamed of you being a scientist. You can't quit school. So Peter Parker's like, all right, fine, I'm going to stay in school, but I'm going to have to make some money somehow. But with all my superpowers, I can do anything. I can go anywhere. I can just take whatever I want. Oh, I'm going to be a criminal. No, I can't be a criminal. With great power comes with great responsibility, blah, blah, blah. I can't go and be a criminal. What can I do to make some money? So Peter Parker comes up with a scheme. He's going to put on some sort of talent show or Spider-Man exhibition. He puts it out in the newspaper. It's only going to be $1 to see the great Spider-Man in action doing flips and tricks and whatever he's going to do. All the cool kids are like, yeah, I'm going to go and see Spider-Man. And Peter Parker's messing with some beakers. He's like, nah, I can't make it. And all the cool kids are like, yeah, you're a bookworm, you're a nerd. Of course you're not making it, duh. We didn't even want you to be there, Peter Parker, nerd man. After his performance, the Amazing Spider-Man wants that amazing cash. But Tricky Ricky here said he can't give him any cash. That's illegal. He needs to write him a check for tax purposes, okay, for the taxes. He's like, what's your name? You got some ID? This Tricky Ricky's trying to unmask Spider-Man through taxes. Tricky Ricky. And Spider-Man's like, I can't give you my real name, okay? Just make the check out to Spider-Man. Tricky Ricky over here is like, ain't no bank is gonna cash your check to Spider-Man, but whatever. So Spider-Man's like, I'll show you, I can do it. I'm Spider-Man. I'll got the power of a spider. Cashing a check is easy peasy. Sir, in the bow tie, can you cash this check? Yeah, let me see some ID, buddy. Yeah, can you see I got a costume on? I'm Spider-Man. There could be anybody. It could be Spider-Man, but you need some ID. So Tricky Ricky was right. That check is not gonna clear. He did that performance for free. And if you thought Spider-Man's bad luck is over, well, you're wrong. J. Jonah Jameson has got his hater fingers going on the typewriter, and he's putting out hater information against Spider-Man. So the next night, when Spider-Man comes to do his performance, Tricky Ricky says, nah, you're fired. The public hates Spider-Man. I'm not giving you a performance. Tricky Ricky hands Spider-Man the paper and says, hey, you show your face around here, you're going to get arrested, boy. And Spider-Man's like, what did I do? J. Jonah Jameson is now on TV, going full Spider-Man hater mode, saying, we cannot allow that masked menace to take the law into his own hands. He's a bad influence on our youngsters. Children may try to imitate his fantastic feats. You gotta think about the children, people. Think what would happen if they make a hero out of this lawless, inhumane monster. We cannot permit it. Lock him up. Real heroes don't wear masks like the Fantastic Four. Those guys are cool. Or like my son, who's an astronaut. His name's John Jameson. He's going out in space. The youth need to be like those people, not like this crazy mass vigilante Spider-Man. Peter Parker's got nerves of steel. He picks up the paper. He's not even that concerned about J. Jonah Jameson right now. He just needs to get that dough. And remember, people, this is 1963. There's no internet. There's no home computers. There's no way to search for a job unless you're looking at the newspaper. And remember, Peter Parker is a teenage kid in high school. So he's thinking, if I can't make any money the way through the Spider-Man, I guess I have to get a regular job. He goes to try to get some job at some pizzeria. And the guy's like, I don't need some teenage guy. I advertise for a man. And Peter Parker's like, I can't win one way for losing. As Peter Parker is reading the newspaper, Aunt May just walks by. She's got a smile on her face. I love Aunt May. Nothing really gets her down. She's got to do what she's got to do. This lady has been around too long to let bad things keep her attitude down. Peter Parker is spying on her. He sees that Aunt May is pawning all of her good jewelry, trying to make ends meet. Peter Parker over here, brilliant mind, he can't even get a job. He's now pissed off at J. Jonah Jameson because of him. Spider-Man can't make no money as some kind of superhero doing shows. I'm going to bang on the wall because that's what teenagers do when they're upset. With the less virtuous person, Spider-Man could have easily become a supervillain. The next day, with nothing better to do, Peter Parker finds himself among the spectators, anxiously awaiting the orbit flight of John Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son. Someone from the crowd says to Peter Parker, not even Spider-Man's brave enough to do this, go to space. And J. Jonah Jameson is going full LeVar Ball on his son, John, saying, you better not muck this up and tarnish the Jameson name. And the astronaut, his son's like, geez, Dad, I'm going to do my best. Chill, man. And then the rocket takes off. But disaster strikes. Something with the guidance system is going cattywampus. The spaceship with John Jameson inside is going hithery-tithery. John Jameson can't control jack squat. He's just a sitting duck up there. The big brains down in mission control are like, oh my gosh, let's call the president. Something's gonna happen. We need a plan, people. They devise some sort of net that they think they're gonna catch the capsule in. That doesn't work. The irony is that in issue number 1 of The Amazing Spider-Man, the first person that Spider-Man may save is gonna be the son of his biggest hater. Maybe that'll make J. Jonah Jameson come to love Spider-Man. We'll see about that. There's only one person that can save John Jameson now, and that's Spider-Man. Spider-Man sneaks into mission control and overhears that they have a component that they can input into the spaceship that'll correct the guidance system. But there's no way to get it to John Jameson in time. And Spider-Man says, I can get it to him in time. Let me have it. And J. Jonah Jameson's like, no way, I'm not putting my son's hand in this spider freak. And Spider-Man says, oh yeah, just watch what I can do, you old mustache Hitler-looking son of a bitch. Spider-Man saying, this capsule's getting lower and lower by the second. I've got to make a move. I need a plane and a pilot. Sergeant Pepper over here ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna wrap him up in some spider webs. Catch you later, old green pants. Hop on the plane. The pilot saying, he may get grounded for this. For sure, he may get his bars taken away. But he's not gonna let John Jameson die on his watch. Spider-Man is riding on the top. It must take some amazing strength to stay on top of a jet fighter going how many miles an hour to catch up to this capsule. Spider-Man saying he's only got one shot to get onto that capsule or he's a dead goner. Spider-Man shoots his webs at the careening capsule crashing to Earth. It says twing. And that's right, people. Before the thwip sound, there was the twing sound. That's the original Spider-Man web sound. And he hits the capsule. Now he has to hold on with all his strength. He's got to climb to the capsule before it crashes to Earth. He has the component on hand, but can he attach it in time? And because Peter Parker, the teenage scientist genius boy, is a super nerd, he knows exactly where to fit the component onto the capsule without having any knowledge of the capsule prior. The installation went smooth as butter. Spider-Man has saved the day. The military press are praising Spider-Man, saying, hooray, Spider-Man saved the day. Spider-Man jumps off the capsule thinking, I wonder if anybody else has had a cool ride like this. I don't think so. I wish I could tell Mary Jane about it. But he runs off. He's like, I don't want everybody getting all patting on my back, super Spider-Man, saving the day. He's super proud of himself. He's like, I can't wait to read the paper tomorrow. I bet J. Jonah Jameson himself is going to give me a job. Spider-Man's a hero. But the headlines appear completely opposite. J. Jonah Jameson has printed that the Spider-Man must be arrested and prosecuted. Poor Peter Parker can't catch a break, even when saving the son of his biggest hater. So Donald J. Trump isn't the only one to suffer the consequences of being slandered by the fake news. J. Jonah Jameson gets on TV and tells the public that he believes Spider-Man was the one that sabotaged the capsule to try to get himself some notoriety and try to take the spotlight off of his son, John Jameson, who's a real hero. And he broke into the military base illegally and by force, hurting some Sergeant Pepper Green Pants. And then he was able to save the capsule just to get his recognition. But he demands the arrest and the unmasking of this vigilante Spider-Man menace. Well, the sheeple are easily swayed by the people who have the loudest voices. And J. Jonah Jameson's plan is working. The public has turned against Spider-Man. They're saying lock him up. Even in May, washing dishes is saying they need to lock up that dangerous Spider-Man. Peter Parker, the teenage boy with all this great power, is thinking to himself, what can I do now? How can I prove I'm not dangerous? How can I convince these people that I wasn't responsible for the failure of that capsule? Everything I do as Spider-Man seems to turn out wrong. What good is my power if I can't use it? Must I be forced to become what they accuse me of being? Do I gotta be a criminal? Do I gotta become a menace? What can I do? And I gotta make some cash before we get tossed out and become homeless. In this first issue of Spider-Man from 1963, Stan Lee presents us with not one, but two amazing Spider-Man thrillers. And here's the beginning of the second part of the Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 1, Spider-Man versus the Chameleon. In these last few pages, not only are you going to meet the America's most famous, most colorful group of super adventurers, the Fantastic Four, but you're going to find out how Spider-Man can defeat a man who can change his identity before you can catch him. Peter Parker comes up with a great strategy to try to drum up some cash. He thinks he's gonna join the Fantastic Four. They gotta have loads of cash. They got their own building. It's as high as a skyscraper. Yeah, that's the ticket. I'm gonna go to Fantastic Four headquarters. Wait, the button's not working. Ah, dang it. They're super technical. You gotta have some sort of Fantastic Four badge to get in. But I can climb walls. I'll just climb up the elevator. No, can't climb up the elevator shaft. The elevator's in my way. Guess they're going to have to do it the old cool way. They're going to be so impressed. They'll have a teenager on the team. They'll be like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, join the Fantastic Four. And I'm going to get super rich with some of that Fantastic Four money. I guess we're going to have to call ourselves the Fantastic Five. And down below, all the reporters are like, yeah, Spider-Man, he's so cool. Look, he's crawling on that web like a real spider. But the alarm goes off. Mr. Fantastic stretches his stretchy neck out and says, hey, someone's trying to sneak in the building. Thing is sitting there reading his newspaper. Human Torch sets it on fire and says, hey, why don't you get up and do something, you big lug? Mr. Fantastic says, why didn't he just call us and make an appointment like the rest of the people who want to come talk to us? And the Thing's sitting there saying, well, because he's an impetuous little teenage punk, that's why. Spider-Man sees an open window. He thinks it's an invitation. He jumps right in, but it's not. It's a trap. Fantastic Four has set themselves a little Spider-Man trap. Spider-Man says, oh, little plexiglass trap, you think you're going to hold me in here? Oh, no, that's nothing to me. And Mr. Fantastic's like, well, the thing costs like thousands of dollars. And Spider-Man's like, what, you think I'm just going to sit in the trap and let you trap me? And the Thing's like, you better get out of here. I'm going to smack you in the face. Spider-Man takes Thing's punch to the chin like a champ. He's like, that's the best you got, old Rocky Top? How about this? Judo toss. You forget I got the power of the spider rock for brains? Mr. Fantastic thinks he's going to sneak up on Spider-Man and grab him with his elongo arms and stretchy fingers, but Spider-Man's too fast for that. He jumps out of Reed Richards' grasp and says, nice try, Rubber Reed, but you're not catching the amazing Spider-Man, and Webb shoots his hands together. Reed Richards is thinking, geez, what's this kid all about? Spider-Man's senses are tingling. He turns around and sees a floating rope about to lasso him. It must be Invisible Girl. He grabs the rope with his spider speed and gives Invisible Girl a twirl for her life. He tells Invisible Girl, I bet you Mr. Fantastic never spun you around the dance floor like this. Ha ha! The Human Torch encircles the Amazing Spider-Man and says, that's it. You animated insect. Fun's over now, Bucky boy. I'll settle this for sure. Flame on. And Spider-Man's like, I don't think that word's going to mean what you think it's going to mean in about 20 or 30 years, but you can't catch me, you little flame on boy. I'm going to bounce around, try to get me. Haha, too slow. Mr. Fantastic makes a barrier. He says, enough is enough, young lad. And the Thing is saying, let me at him, let me at him. Mr. Fantastic's like, what do you want, you little teenage insect boy? And Spider-Man says, finally, someone's asking me. Well, this was my audition. See what I can do, boys? I whipped up on all four of you. Let's join. Let me join your team. We'll become the Fantastic Five. How does that sound? I kind of got the blue. You guys can add a little bit of red. You know, we'll make a great Fantastic Five. And everybody's laughing at Spider-Man. They're like, ha ha ha, you must be out of your mind. First of all, you're a little teenage punk. Second of all, we're a little family. Our backstories don't mix well. Number three, you're a menace. You got bad publicity. We're the Fantastic Four. We've got all of our merchandise already set up for a team of four. Adding five, it's going to be a whole marketing thing. No. And Spider-Man's like, but I need some money. Aren't y'all rich? You got a whole building. And Mr. Fantastic says, no, we're not rich. All of our money goes to science experiments and stuff. You know, we're about as poor as you are. Spider-Man's like, dang, I'm out of here. And they're like, wait, come back. We want to talk some more. He's like, nah, I got to bounce. I got to go find some cash. The Fantastic Four is saying, we really need to upgrade the window security in this building. And now we move to a defense installation at the edge of town. The chameleon has the janitor locked up in the closet. He's going to make a quick mask and turn himself into the janitor to gain easy access to the defense installation. The chameleon is super duper proud of himself because he's stealing secret documents from the installation right under the people's noses, and he's going to sell them to Iran and Iraq. And on the TV, the news reporters are saying that Spider-Man had an audition to the Fantastic Four and they're considering him for membership, which is really not true, but that's what the fake news is spreading. But the chameleon thinks that he can use this story to his advantage. He's thinking, if I go back and steal the rest of these documents, then I can blame Spider-Man for stealing them, because clearly the only reason he would visit the Fantastic Four is because he's a broke ass son of a bitch, and I can manipulate this story to my advantage. The dastardly chameleon sets out with a plan. He knows Spider-Man has some secret spider senses. The chameleon is very smart and knows a lot about Spider-Man, even though he's never met him or seen him in action. So he sends out a frequency that he believes only Spider-Man can hear and tells him to meet him at the rooftop on this building, and there's a lot of profit for him. And Spider-Man catches the frequency. He's like, I wonder who could this be? Oh, well, I need the money. I'm going to go check it out. So he swings over to the building, but in the meantime, the chameleon has his own plans. He's going to switch into the disguise of the elevator operator. He gets into the elevator, and at the end of the shift, he winds up changing out of the elevator operator's outfit into Spider-Man, his big plan. And as Spider-Man, the chameleon sneaks in to the record room and steals the plans using a makeshift web shooter gun. No one will even know the difference. The chameleon plans is working perfectly. Dressed as Spider-Man, he has the secret military records and is running to the rooftop to his helicopter to leave just in time for Spider-Man to arrive and be the patsy for his scheme and plans. Spider-Man notices the helicopter but says, that's interesting. Anyway, I got to get to this rooftop and get some cash. So as soon as the real Spider-Man swings to the rooftop, the police show up and say, "Freeze, Spider-Man! Give us back those stolen records! We need those plans! You're a traitor!" And Spider-Man's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! He webs those cops up. He's like, "I'm smelling a setup here. It must have been that helicopter pilot. He's the one who set me up." And he sits and thinks for a second. He's like, "I'll use my spider senses to hone in to where this guy is. I'll catch him and turn him over to the cops." Spider-Man needs to make it quick if he's going to catch this helicopter. So he makes himself a slingshot from his webs. He brings it back as far as he can and whee! He's flying over the city. Wow, this was the first time that we've ever seen Spider-Man use this trick. It's been in movies, it's been in video games, and look at that. It was featured in issue number 1 of The Amazing Spider-Man. But what we haven't seen a lot is the Spider-Man web parachute. Well, Spider-Man uses this web parachute to float onto a boat that's been docked because the helicopter is flying over water. What can he use his webs to swing on? So he uses the boat. He's seeing that there's a submarine, a Russian submarine that's just breached the water. The helicopter is planning to land and give all of the U.S. military secrets to these dirty commie Russians. But Spider-Man has different plans. He webs up the hull of the submarine so no one can get out. So now the helicopter's like, "Oh no, how did Spider-Man catch up to me?" Spider-Man crashes the boat into the submarine, and now it's time for payback against the fake Spider-Man. The chameleon is trying to go whirly, twirly, tippy, toppy, zippity, dippity, but he can't. He can't get Spider-Man off of the helicopter. Spider-Man uses his super spider strength to rip the door right off of the helicopter and tells the chameleon, "You better get your commie ass to land this helicopter before I tear your head off." Spider-Man has the chameleon in tow and returns to the scene of the crime with the plans. And he's planning to hand the chameleon over to the cops when, bang, the chameleon throws a smoke bomb onto the ground and escapes. The cops are like, we've got this building locked up. The chameleon can't escape, not with all these cops around. But the chameleon has already planned for this possibility. He switches out of his Spider-Man costume and into a policeman's outfit. Spider-Man is helping the cops search the building, but the chameleon knows that it's just a matter of time before Spider-Man can sense him. Peter Parker's spider sense is tingling, and he knows exactly where the chameleon is. The chameleon knows it too, so he hits the lights. Spider-Man's like, don't worry, I can still shoot him with my webs. Oh no, I'm out of juice. Spider-Man climbs to the ceiling. This is the only way he can get a good advantage point to attack the chameleon. He launches and he grabs the chameleon, but the chameleon has one last trick. The villain says that it's chameleon dressed as Spider-Man again, and now the cops fall for it for another time, and they try to grab Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, no, it's me, I'm the real Spider-Man. And in the scuffle, he grabs the chameleon's uniform and rips it, but barely makes it out of the cop's grasp, and he's climbing the wall, and he's like, forget it, the cops can grab him. I'm done with this chameleon cat. I'm out of here. And just by the chance of luck, because Spider-Man did grab the chameleon's uniform, the cops see that the chameleon had the Spider-Man uniform under his outfit and arrest the chameleon just by happenstance. Spider-Man starts running home. He's crying. He wishes that he never had these powers because nothing goes right for him. The Fantastic Four are reading the papers saying how Spider-Man is an unstable, dangerous teenager. The Fantastic Four are super worried about him turning into a villain. And will he turn into a villain? Come on, no one thinks that Spider-Man's going to turn into a villain. Everybody knows Spider-Man is the amazing, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Before we move on to the next episode, Stan Lee gave us some lore and some history and some knowledge about the secret of Spider-Man's web. So fantastically strong is Spider-Man's web that if it were possible to increase its thickness to a half-inch, one strand would be enough to hold the mighty muscled thing a prisoner for life. This special webbing is also 90% fireproof unless he's intensified his flame to a great degree. Could he even hold a human torch? Under normal conditions, Spider-Man's web is also capable of stretching to a limited degree, though its power cannot compare to that of Mr. Fantastic's. And to complete our comparison with the Fantastic Four, Spidey's webbing disappears into nothingness after an hour has elapsed, being as impossible to find as the Invisible Girl. So what can Spider-Man do with his web? Having devoted many long hours of practice to the operation of his web, the terrific teenager can now use it in many different ways. He can use it as a barrier, as a shield. He can use it as spider skis. He can make it into a parachute, a safety net. He can make himself a web spider raft. He can make himself a web club. He can make himself a web ball. Or he can just throw it on the ground and make it simply sticky glue. Let me know what you thought about this episode, what you thought about the Amazing Spider-Man #1. What do you think about the artwork, the depiction of Spider-Man and Peter Parker? What do you think about the story, how this comic has multiple stories within it? Let me know what you think about the layout of the comics versus how it is today. Does this give you any type of nostalgia regarding Spider-Man? And make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you real soon.